Hello, good afternoon. Yes, I'm
Hello,
here. Nice.
welcome.
Thank you for the invitation, and hello to everybody in the call. So yes, I will be the one presenting now. Let me just quickly share my slides. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, you are live on screen.
Okay, just a second. By the way, amazing presentation earlier. It was very interested. So I'm glad that I joined a bit earlier than when I was supposed to speak. Super interesting. Okay, so welcome everyone. So I will be today talking about the European Cybersecurity Organization. My name is Sebastian Čutura, and I'm the manager, mainly working with the CISO community in ECSO. But I will also provide you a general overview of ECSO so you get a glimpse of what we do and how you might get involved, because we are doing really a lot of different things in cybersecurity. So to start off, actually, EXO started in 2016 by signing a public-private partnership with the European Commission. And initially, we were providing input on the research programs of the European Commission, Horizon Europe, and Digital Europe. And this we are still doing that. But in the meantime, our activities have expanded to many different areas of cybersecurity. But this link with the institution remains clear from beginning and then continuing nowadays. For example, one of the prominent projects that we are running is called ECHO project, where we are supporting establishment of the newly created cybersecurity agency in Bucharest, European Cybersecurity Competence Center, which will again provide funding for the research in cybersecurity. Um, Moving on, just to provide you a bit of an overview of the EXA members, we have around 300 members coming from different categories of the stakeholders. We bring together large companies, SMEs, and startups, research centers, then public administration as well, which is, I would say, quite unique because, okay, we are industry-based organization in Brussels, but every industry has let's say their representation in Brussels. What is unique with our organization that we also try to engage in dialogue with public administration. So you have governments of Germany, Italy, and Spain, for example, as part of as part of the board of directors of EXO. And of course, here the final point is the end users and operators of critical infrastructure and essential services, which is basically the CISO community, but I will touch upon that a bit later. This just distribution across the members, very balanced, and we engage into different activities according to the needs, let's say, of the certain stakeholders. Now coming, so the work in EXO is divided into the working groups and the dedicated task forces. So in I will very quickly go through to some of the working groups, and of course after the event I can connect you to my colleagues who are running certain working groups in case of need. So just shout after the meeting if some of the working group was interesting to you, but I did not manage to elaborate fully what is that working group doing. So, for example, working group one, they are actually looking what is the impact of the standards and certifications on the market, and then we provide the best practice and guidelines to our members in order to tackle those themes. Currently, what they are doing is they are looking what will be the impact of the Cyber Resilience Act, which you are probably all aware of. So we have also provided a position paper where we provide opinion during the public consultation process. But after it is voted, we will also provide support with the implementation to our members. We have a dedicated working group for the SMEs and startups. So here it's very operational, right? So EXO as an organization is at the same time doing a lot of high-level strategic political topics, but at the same time we are doing operational, where to the ground like events where we do matchmaking between the supply and demand. So a good example is Cyber Investor Days, where we invite the startups to meet investors. In Cyber Solution Days, very similar concept where we invite our startups and SMEs to meet with the CISOs who are evaluating their solutions. We also issue the cyber market news report, and we are also just about to launch the marketplace for the European cybersecurity providers. We also have a dedicated group that supports the regions. Another working group which has grown quite significantly recently is the skills, human factors, and gender ecosystems. So here we really try to provide concrete actions to tackle the workforce gap in Europe. So for one of the initiatives which basically came up from working group 5 is called Women for Cyber. So I don't know if you've heard about this organization. Likely in Europe, this is the largest organization gathering female professionals in cybersecurity. So they have more than 20 chapters currently all over Europe. They organize a lot of concrete initiatives like the mentorship program, where a lot of CISOs and senior professionals educate younger people. They have academy where a lot of content is provided for free to the members of the organization. I invite you to check out their webpage because it's really interesting and for the good goal. And similar as ECSO, it's also non-profit, so we fully live from the membership fees. Also, we have some, let's say, European projects, but we mainly live from the membership fees of our members. Working Group 6 is mainly focused on searching for the cybersecurity trends in the next 5 to 10 years. So they often issue technical papers. For example, the last one was on AI. Before that, they issued one on the IoT. So in general, writing technical papers together with the input with our members. We also organize brokerage events for the EU projects, which is also very interesting for our members because we basically give beforehand the information on which areas in cybersecurity might be funded from the European Commission programs, and we basically organize the meetings between our members who then say to which kind of a project would they be able to participate in. Finally, before going to the CISO community, we had our main transversal group is called EU Legislation and Policy Task Force. So they provide consistent policy intelligence and briefings to our members. They're also in charge on providing position paper on all EU cybersec legislation. So as you know, there's abundance of them that were recently kind of in the procedure or upcoming. So here I have provided a short overview of the let's say cybersec legislation, vertical if it's linked to a certain area, or horizontal if it's basically horizontal impact. Now, moving on to the main part of this presentation will be the working group 3, which, if you remember this, let's say, distribution among the stakeholders, this working group really aims to work with the end users, practitioners, CISOs to basically determine how best to protect their companies, not only from a policy standpoint, but also from operational collaboration that we are facilitating in the CISO community. So these are some of the main activities that we are running. The CISO community CTI task force is basically our attempt to have all our members share CTI between each other. And finally, the NIS2 implementation, which is mainly targeting the end users. Coming to the CISO community, it's basically a place for the people to exchange information, good practices, threat intelligence, develop common positions, basically anything that is important for the CISOs. And if you know description of the CISO role, there's quite a lot of topics that they can talk about. We are basically running two communication channels where they talk, about policy, products from the vendors, about the role, to whom they have to report. Actually, there was a big discussion recently because you've probably heard that the CISO of SolarWinds was actually sentenced. So which is a game changer, and there's a lot of fear among the CISO community whether that kind of a criteria would be applied also in European soil when judging reaction of a CISO to a breach that will inevitably happen in their company. As every community, we are organizing monthly meetings where we go through the main, let's say, cybersecurity topics that occurred over the last month, the breaches, vulnerabilities discovered, etc., etc. They get their everyday daily briefs as well. And again, as mentioned earlier, one of the main goals from ECSO side is to be kind of the interface when it comes to discussion with the institutions in Brussels. So this community main event is in Florence on 28 and 29 November. And basically the goal is not only to have one-time conference. We aim to have a community that will bring together CISOs from all over Europe. So currently in our CISO community we have 370 CISOs. Entrances for free, by the way, because people enter as individuals rather than the representatives of their organizations. So professional credentials are, say, more important in this instance rather than being part of organization. And we are basically supporting establishment of the national CISO communities. So in some of the countries, usual suspects like France or Spain, Italy, UK, for that matter, they're already quite developed and strong national communities. But what we realized before launching the European CISO community, that CISOs are missing links across sectors and across countries. So national CISO communities exist, sectoral associations do exist. Do CISOs cooperate consistently when you filter out those specificities? We saw that actually not. And in most of the European countries, there is still a lot of room for the cybersecurity executives and professionals, for that matter, to start networking and linking with each other. So, for example, in Ireland, we have signed a partnership also with the Irish CISO community. In Poland, we have also signed a partnership where they created a national CISO community. So this is kind of also invitation. I mean, I don't know actually where your members are based. I assume all of you have operations in Europe, but this is again, very simple way how to improve overall cybersecurity of the companies, to basically invite people to join the community, join the network, to discuss with your peers, ask for questions. Very cost-effective, a quick way how to tackle issues that people are dealing on a daily basis. And the final goal of this community is to unify all the CISO, national CISO organization under the ECSO umbrella. Now going into the maybe about a bit about the agenda, I believe it's worthwhile mentioning. We will have CISOs presenting breaches inside of their companies. We also envisage dialogue with the CISOs in Ukraine. A special panel will be dedicated to cooperation between the national CISO communities, what I discussed earlier. And we have also invited the Italian Cybersecurity Agency, and there will be dedicated meetings between the agency and the European CISOs. Regarding of some of the ongoing initiatives not related to the daily activities or to the event itself, one concrete one is the NIS2 implementation initiative, which is basically made to facilitate exchange of best practices among the impacted entities. Mainly essential and important entities, since the scope has expanded with NIS2. There's quite a lot of entities that will be impacted, and also since the NIS2 legislation brings a specific attention to the supply chain cybersecurity, indirectly a lot of organizations might be impacted by the obligations even when they don't know that they are impacted. So that's why we are trying to see what will be the national transposition of the European law. So since it's a directive, the member states still kind of have the opportunity to change the certain parts of legislation according to the local needs. So for example, in Czech Republic, all the end user companies that are under the scope, essential important, will have to report all incidents except of the instead of the significant incidents, which is quite a heavy burden for the end user companies. And there's also then the question of how are the countries going to audit and check whether the requirements have been fulfilled. For example, because the EU does not specify whether a specific standard should be used for auditing. So, for example, Italy will be using the NIST framework, technology and standard agnostic for the auditing and supervisory purposes. Finally, we will actually write a white paper on the challenges and priorities in the NIS2 implementation, which will cover use cases from the implementing organization. It will provide an overview of the transposition in all of the EU member states, and it will also provide the survey, which we will run among our CISO community to test how well prepared are they to implement all the expected changes. Another concrete activity that we have done was about the CISO role in ENISA's, so European Cybersecurity Agency's skills framework, where they try to standardize and unify description of the 12 cybersecurity roles, which should then in theory be used, enforced by the public administration at the national level, that all companies use that when trying to employ a cybersecurity professional, which is a great idea. But the problem was that the description of the CISO role, according to the CISOs in our community, was not good enough. So we made a large activity and working group, and more than 100 CISOs contributed to provide an update to this document. And we will certainly follow up to see whether that has been accepted, since we are a part of the working group of ENISA. So basically that's it from my side. I would like actually to make this as interactive as possible, so I'd be happy to answer any questions, right? Because I'm also keen to know more about your organization, and because the presentation that was just before me by John, it was the first time that I saw, okay, that you really would like to engage with the CISOs. So it would be interesting to hear from yes, from your side as well. What is the purpose? What are the possibilities, and whatever else could be interesting. So thank you for listening.